As you know, I just came out of a meeting with the Chief Exec Officer of the Guyana Power and Light and his senior staff. I am now better informed about GPL and the challenges faced by this most important cooperation. I know GPL has a number of plans in the short term, in the medium term, and in the long term to have reliable electricity for all the people of Guyana, all the businesses in Guyana, and to expand that electricity for us. However, in the short term, and the most important concern for the people of Guyana right now is having reliable electricity and a reduction or zero power outages. And I've already passed directions to the Chief Exec Officer to ensure that as we move from now to the end of 2020 and into the first quarter of 2021, all steps must be taken to ensure that we have reliable electricity in Guyana and a reduction in power outages. Expressions of interest will be published soon so that we could purchase whatever power is available in Guyana to complement the power that's being supplied by GPL. And that in the immediate term will help to curb blackouts in Guyana. I know the CEO is here, and there's some other technical matters that you may want to follow up with him, but in terms of my direction, we want to end blackout. And in all fairness to GPL, GPL is the victim of poor planning by the previous administration, because many of the projects that GPL is running with right now should have started 3 or 4 years before now. However, we're prepared to face the problems and to direct our energies towards fixing these problems in the interest of the people of Guyana. Thank you.
For the 6.5 megawatt, those 5 generating sets, those are Wärtsilä sets, we will benefit from them after 2021 April, all things being constant, right? So that is something that we've dealt with, but with respect to the blackout and the frequent blackouts now, that is why we are here. We have looked at GPL's plans, their short-term, their immediate-term plans, medium and long-term plans, and we have spoken with the management. We believe that GPL have a relatively solid plan, but the implementation of it and the timing of the implementation of it and the funding of the initiatives needs to be addressed and managed, right? So, as the Prime Minister just said, immediately GPL has been asked to put out an expression of interest of persons who are willing to provide power to the grid. That will add to the current capacity or current output that GPL have, about 120 megawatts. If any generator within that entire substation, the substation sets that are on the DBIS system goes out, and that falls below 120, you'll have blackouts. You will have blackouts, right? That is what it is. It is the demand and the output is relatively the same. Anything happens down there in terms of mechanical failure, some generator tripping or anything, you will have blackouts because there is no backup capacity. And that is why we need to add to the grid. So GPL has been given instruction today to go to expression of interest quickly to see what is there out there in the private sector that can add to the grid so that we can have some level of backup power. In addition to that, GPL was also instructed to see whatever generators they have down to bring it up quickly to add to the system as well, to give an additional backup. Whether it's 5 megawatt, whether it's 7, I understand a 7 megawatt engine will be added by tomorrow, and there's another one for 5 megawatt in another 16, 20 days it will come on stream. Those will add to the system. But as Priem says, GPL and the capital program for adding into the generating capacity into the system was neglected for 5 years. They only had 3 Caterpillar engine that they add to the system in the 5-year period. Aside from this 46.5 megawatt of power that is going to be done in April 2021 thereafter. So we must understand as a country and as a people what we have at GPL, what we have inherited, and how we need to go forward.
Yes, we're always actually looking out for renewable energy to add to the grid. But one of the things we need for this particular capacity is for it to be firm, because we need it mostly to meet the peak in the evening, and depending on the nature of renewable, that may not be available. So we need firm capacity, but we are always open to renewable, and with the recent changes in the legislation, we can actually accept more onto the grid. So we have been pursuing those as well. But we need some additional firm capacity in the short term. There is some that was added, and Minister, there was this Canefield 5.5 megawatt as well. But based on where we are now and the age of some of the units, about 60 megawatts of what we have now was due for retirement, or maybe due for retirement in the next year or two. We need firm capacity, and the nature of the business is, if you need capacity, you have to act in advance. You have to plan in advance. You have to start the procurement. Usually, it's up to 2 years getting a new baseload generation, and in 2 years is pretty good. We are getting this one in about 1 year, so that's pretty good. So we need to plan and act in advance. And even as we do that, because we expect the demand to grow very rapidly over the next couple of years as the economy opens up, and as the benefits from the oil and gas sector start to impact the economy, we need to stay ahead of the demand so that we can give the people of Ghana first-class utility services with limited outages. So over the last several months, we've been doing fairly well, but not perfect. More recently, we had the shutdown. And as we indicated to Minister, we've had 3 this year, but in 2017 it was 25. So we have moved from 25 to 3, and 2 of those were caused by, 1, an accident by a contractor, and 2, when we had that little mini storm a few days ago. This one, fault on the submarine cable, and there are also weaknesses in the transmission system, and until we fix those, we'll get these incidents. So part of the plan is to fix the transmission system, but also to install new capacity, so we can not just support development, but help to drive development. So we'll be working closely to play that part going forward.